More Trump here with more. Trump attorney who was blocked from viewing the search at Mar-a-Lago. Lindsay Halligan is with us. Lindsay, thank you for being with us. Let's talk about that day. Let's talk about the FBI arriving. What happened?
Hi, Mr. Hannity. So I arrived around 11 a.m. and there were about 30 to 40 FBI agents that I saw, 5 of which were wearing suits. The rest were in cargo pants, masks, and gloves. And they basically had unfettered access to the property. They refused to talk to me, refused to let me in. All I knew is that they were searching areas 1, 2, and 3, which I understood to be the former president's bedroom, his office, and a storage room. And other than that, we were not allowed to talk to them or go inside at all.
Did you ever get a chance to read the warrant? Did you ever get a copy of it? Did you ever get any other information? Do you know, are you aware of what they took out of Mar-a-Lago?
That's the thing. They had unfettered access to the property. They looked at God knows what in there and did God knows what in there. We have no idea. What the FBI did was an appalling display of abuse of power. All documents requested were previously handed over. President Trump and his team painstakingly reviewed every single document at Mar-a-Lago and gave the government what they requested. If they needed any other documents, they could have just asked. And the warrant was secured under seal. So they tried to get away with concealing this overreach by obtaining a warrant under seal. Nobody knew about it. They knew that President Trump was in Bedminster and hasn't been at Mar-a-Lago for some time. They thought they could sneak in, snoop around without attorneys present, in case they walked out with nothing, so nobody would know that they overreached to this degree. And it's unprecedented in United States history. The government seems to be out of control. It's plagued with manipulation, corruption, greed, deceit, and fraud.
And yet the National Archives praised the work.
What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle. Just playing a clip of that. I'm actually going to take it in a much different direction. I want to talk about the psyche of Donald Trump. I do have a lot more to talk about with Mar-a-Lago and the raid. That will be forthcoming on the main channel, probably. So some people, I don't know if they were offended, but taken aback by this one. We do have to talk about this. It might be kind of funny. I don't know. I'm actually looking at it from a serious matter. The first thing when I saw her on that clip came to mind was that why am I not surprised that she is a Trump attorney? Lindsay Halligan. Why would I not be surprised? And this is a good one to test out people's critical thinking. So I'm looking at the replies to that, and I'll show you a little bit of piece from a Washington Post article. If you know Trump's psyche, if you've read his books and you followed him and you know his history, this is not a surprising take. I don't know what's in Trump's head, and I never said I did know what's in Trump's head. I am not surprised, though, that lawyer who has the textbook, when you look at attractiveness, I'm happily married. I'm not, that's not even really my type, somebody that looks like that. Obviously very beautiful though. But I mean, my type is more like a common looking person from like TikTok or something like that. But my point is she fits the role. Donald Trump, and I don't know, we know that Donald Trump has done some things that you could say are misogynistic. The way that he hires based on appearance, I don't know if that is, though. So let me look at this here. Trump formally announced his vice presidential pick in July. He said that Mike Pence's economic record as Indiana, this is an old Washington Post article, Indiana governor was the primary reason I wanted Mike, other than he looks very good. So this looks things for Donald Trump seems to span across, doesn't matter which gender. That's a man he's talking about, obviously, Mike Pence. He's saying he looks very good. I think he means looks like if you were to go to central casting for a vice president, typical vice president, Mike Pence might be one of the options. So that's why I say, is it misogynistic, or is he just so ingrained with promotion and appearance that it just spans everything that he does. Not to say that these people aren't qualified, but he obviously has that leaning. When he hired James Mattis, he lauded him as the closest thing to General George Patton that we have. Very famously, he looks kind of like George Patton, and that's what Trump was alluding to there. He said that Hillary Clinton lacked a presidential look, and you need a presidential look. He wasn't saying that she's ugly. He didn't say that. He just said she didn't look presidential. So I obviously have a legitimate reason to say I'm not surprised that she's a Trump attorney, not making any definitive statements. Somebody replied to me and said, should we question Rachel Levine's ability based on appearance? Who said that? I mean, you can pull up those questions, but that has nothing to do with what I posted because that is not my position. Or Barbara Furr. Everyone can present themselves to the world as they identify unless you are Trump's attorney, so your looks supersede your qualifications. Got it. Stop counting BS narratives about abilities and looks. I never said any of those things. I didn't say anything about her qualifications. My statement was basically specifically about Don Dada. It was about the head honcho. It's about Trump. I didn't say anything about her abilities or her not. Of course, I implied that she looked the part or role, but I didn't say that she wasn't qualified or anything like that. It's almost similar to Joe Biden saying, I'm going to pick a black woman. Trump didn't say that here, but it's along those same lines. If you have this reputation, then it's fair to say, I'm not surprised you picked somebody that looked like that. Somebody said, what's my criteria for choosing a lawyer? What does that have to do with anything? That has nothing to do with my take here. Somebody said, why not? If I could have an unattractive, old, fat, bald male attorney, accountant, etc., or young Brad Pitt looking dude, guess who I would choose? Good looking doesn't equal not intelligent. Sadly, ugly AF and unintelligent often go head to head. That was kind of a savage tweet. But I said, hey, Trump he's entitled to do whatever he wants to do with his business. The personal hires, however he wants to hire people personally like that. He would not have been able to beat Hillary if he were not a master promoter, if he wasn't true to himself. Remember, famously, he called Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig. Clearly, that is wrong. You don't teach your kids to do stuff like that. So obviously that's wrong, but we all agree that's honest. So you get into the psyche of Donald Trump and you wonder, well, how did he pull this off? How did he beat Hillary? It's not an accident. He didn't beat Hillary Clinton by accident. You study it, he beat Hillary Clinton by being a shock to the system, somebody who was actually, for their pros and cons, actually pretty authentic. When he said that, people were like, I probably don't like that. I probably wouldn't say that. I wouldn't teach my kids to say that. But he's honest. Do you think Hillary's honest? No. So these are pros and cons. Let's take a look at this flashback. The audio is bad, but believe it or not, Trump is going to say, this is a whole different world, 2007. Trump said he hired a woman or a girl. This is his words. She was 17 or 18, he didn't say this part exactly, but based solely on her looks. Let me ask you, sir. Let me ask you, do you have any experience? She says, no, sir. I say, when can you start? Trump smiles at the crowd. This is a different woman. There's some woman in the crowd randomly asking a question, and Trump asks her to come up on stage.
My name is Juliet. I have a question. My question is, how many jets do you have, and how would I advise the flight attendants?
So it's hard to hear. She asked the question. I don't even know what the question was. It's hard to hear. But then he says, coming up to the stage.
I think she's hired.
Then he says, I think she's hired. So he is talking about this woman here, but then the story is going to be about somebody else.
about the actress. She's so beautiful. And my people came, she said, "Look, Mr. Trump, she has no experience." So I interviewed her anyway, because she was so pretty. And I said, "Let me ask you, do you have any experience?" She goes, "No, sir." I said, "When can you start?" You can work on my plan anytime.
Donald Trump is a fool, man. This dude is Donald Trump is a fool, man. And I'm gonna wrap up here in a second. I just wanted to show like the psyche of what it took to bring the cabal down. Who did you think it was gonna be? Did you think it was gonna be some button-up dude, kind of milquetoast like myself, who's gonna bring this cabal down? That's gonna be the shock to the system. I talked about the antics of the J6 jail cell at CPAC in another video. I'll upload that when I clip it up. And what it is it's performative art. They put a jail cell at CPAC, a fake jail cell with a fake actor, but with real recordings from J6ers to hit you emotionally. A shock to the system. I've never seen anything like that. I don't even know how to react to something like that. Some people were crying. That's what Donald Trump was. He was a shock to the system. People didn't like it. The Megyn Kelly debate that's when the Rosie O'Donnell stuff came out. That was crazy. So Donald Trump, I'm going to end with this. Donald Trump has showed us the power of marketing. So if you're going to look at anybody, including DeSantis, who I'm behind right now, but I do have questions though. I haven't heard him talk about this Trump raid. He's going to have to speak on this and answer. Well, I have a ton of questions for him. But even him, it's a battle of promotion. So you're going to have to promote yourself. No one has gotten more free press than Trump. How? Because he does crazy stuff like that. And he's been able to dodge the bullets, the Access Hollywood tape. It's been insane. So don't underestimate that power. That's why I'm trying to get better at promotion and learn about it and figure out how that fits into my style, my take, and you have to put energy into it. Because if I want to reach people, I'm not trying to run for president, but if you want to reach people, that is what it is. If you're on YouTube, anyone you listen to on YouTube, any podcast you listen to, now some people might put more effort into it or not. There's whatever you want to do, but all it is, it's really, you want to have good content. You want to have something to say. At the end of the day, it's a marketing tool. And Donald Trump understands the power of TV. He's a TV guy. Former Miss Universe, owned the pageant. He literally owned who they labeled as the most beautiful woman in the world. Literally owned the pageant. So when I say I'm not surprised, it's not any type of misogynistic diss on her or anything like that. It's a comment on the psyche of Trump. That's all it is. Let me know what you think. Take care.